Okay, class. So this is a continuation from the previous video. So what I want to show you guys now, okay, so after, I gave this example from, this is something we got from ProQuest, which is from the library database. So now that would be a secondary scholarly source, okay? So let's say that I want to do a citation for my film itself. So here, let me just kind of show you what you can do. So I opened a new tab, and if you would type in citationmachine.net, this will take you to what's called a citation generator. So this is kind of just like, um, I would say, using um, a calculator in a math class. Okay, this is a place where you can sort of fill in the blanks for certain material information on a source, and it'll generate a citation for you, and it'll even show you how it should be set up in parentheses for your in text or in your paper itself. As far as the parenthetical citation, so it's a really good tool. There's all kinds out there. There's one called EasyBib. There's all kinds. I just have always used Citation Machine. So first you want to pick the type or formatting style, and we're doing MLA. And then you have a series of options. Okay. So if I am doing a film, now if I just put in "it follows," it will probably not. Now, what I'm showing you here is this is a search engine. So sometimes you can search for a source, and the generator will find it, and that makes a little bit easier for generating citations. And if it can't find it, then you have to go to manual entry mode, and I'll show you that in a second. But I wanted to show you, if you just sort of put the film title in there in quotes, sometimes yeah, see, well, let's see if it gives us anything. Yeah, no. So um, it's a little too broad. Films are not going to be able to be pulled up auto. So what you would want to do is go to manual entry mode right here for your film. And let's make sure that we choose on film right there. And so then it's going to ask you these questions here. Okay. So we've got our film title, and again, make sure you put it in quotation marks. And then we have this other stuff now that you may not know. Now, a lot of this will probably be on the DVD or Blu-ray itself. If you don't have that handy, here's what I would do. Open up a new tab and put in imdb.com. That stands for Internet Movie Database. And in this search engine, I might put "It Follows," the title of my film. There it is right there. I can choose that, and it'll pull up an information page about that film. So we see here is the director. So let's go back to our citation machine page. Ask for main performers. So you can put, I would just maybe put one or two. And really, I'm not even sure that you have to do that in this area, because you're not, I don't know that that will even show up in the citation. But let's say, and I don't remember his last name, Gilchrist. Okay. Contributors, director. Okay, I believe that was David, and the last name Mitchell. You don't have to put the middle name. Studio. Okay, so who made this? Now you'll have to scroll down here. Lots of information. You have to scroll down. Okay, so now we're getting into some more detail here. Company credits, production company, and then there's a bunch of stuff. You would just want to use the first bit of info right there. Northern Lights film for mine. And so I will write that in here. Make sure that you're being case sensitive. In other words, capitalize what needs to be capitalized, so on and so on. What was that? Northern Lights film. Yeah, Northern Lights films. Okay, and let's say this was a DVD. This was made in 2014. If you don't remember, I mean, it's going to be right there in parentheses for you. Now, this is a spot where you could add your annotation for the annotated bibliography. I don't do that just because I'd have to reformat it anyway in my document. So I just choose to just create the citation and then add my annotation later. So here you can create citation. There you go, right there. And then see here if you press, let me copy and paste this first. So I'm going to highlight and copy it. And then here, if I click parenthetical, okay, right there it shows you a suggested parenthetical citation. Okay, I this might be a reflection of MLA edition 8, which is the current for the time of this video being made. We're in the 8th edition. It may change by the time another class views this, but because it does change. Um, I grew up learning that you're supposed to put the year in there since there's no page number in movies. But this might be a new one. This is one of those areas where you would want to check your DK handbook to make sure that that's correct. Again, I'm not really particular about that. I just like to see an attempt being made that you put in parentheses and you know how to format it correctly. As far as that, I appreciate the director's name. You could leave it at just the director's name. You can put the year, or you can put the film title. It really doesn't matter to me. However, you might have an instructor who's a little more strict, so you always want to check your DK handbook just to make sure and make sure it's the latest edition. Okay, so I had already copied and pasted the, not pasted yet, but I've copied the citation. So I'm going to go back to my annotated bibliography page, right click. Remember, you want to right click and let's do keep text because this has changed its formatting. And there is another citation right there. And then I would, of course, give the annotation. This is a horror movie with lots of symbolism and thematic elements that make for a good analysis. I have chosen this film because it fulfills the final paper assignment and I really enjoyed watching it. Okay, just a little annotation. Of course, this one here is more specific to this film choice, and so it's not really, it's just a little fluff. You're just kind of filling space right there. But basically, it just lets me know, again, sort of why you chose it as well. So that would be how you could cite your film choice. You can also do this for like a YouTube. So if I went back, let me go back up here. I'm just going to choose MLA again to start over. So to choose like a YouTube site, okay, it's a little bit tricky. Now, my first inclination is to go to other and look at what they have. So television, radio, music, on and on and on. I think that probably your safest bet um, to avoid confusion and all is to choose website. Just to choose website. Now, the thing about it is your DK handbook, I believe, has a section in the table of contents that would actually demonstrate YouTube videos. They've become very common use. I don't mind students using it as a source. I think that it provides good information. It's a secondary source. It's not a scholarly source, but it's a secondary source. And so this citation generator, citation machine, um, doesn't really have that option. And so in class, I think we tried other types and it just didn't work as well. So we settled on website since it is a website. And so let me go back to my new tab and I'm going to go straight to YouTube and put in my film title and maybe analysis. Okay, and here's one that let's say I wanted to use, or this one, either one. I'm gonna pause it here. Okay, now right up here, the URL, I want to copy that, go back to Citation Machine, and here in the search engine, because remember, you can do manual entry or auto. We're in auto fill mode, and so this might be able to find that specific video and then fill in those blanks like we did with our film choice itself. It might fill those in if we can find it. So you want to use your URL for your video, not just simply YouTube, or YouTube and even maybe the title of your video that you found on YouTube. It would probably take a while because it would search through a bunch of lists. But if you just use your URL, it might find, and there you go, right there. You see how it found, that is our explained and creature theory. So you go back, that's the title right there of this actual YouTube video. So Citation Machine found it when I pasted the URL into the search engine. So there it is. You have to press select to let it know that yes, this is the one that I want. And then it's telling you the citation information that it found. Well, that's quite a bit of information. So that's good. That's good. It only didn't find the publisher or sponsor. Now I'll show you how you can find that. So when you go click final step and you see here that it has most of that information filled in. So remember it said it couldn't find publisher. You wouldn't have to have contributor because for a YouTube video, YouTube calls it a publisher. So this would be really unnecessary. Although I suppose you could put it in there, put that information in there. But usually people have a screen name. It's not it's not their first and last name. So that's why this really wouldn't be relevant. So under publisher, it just says YouTube, but that's not necessarily it. That's the website, right? So if you go back to your YouTube video, okay, how do you find who the publisher is? What's right above subscribe? Ryan Hollinger is the publisher here. So that's the YouTube video. Now he does have a first and last name. So you could probably use um, author, first and last name here, contributors, if you wanted. It really doesn't matter to me. You can put it under publisher. Most of the time, your publisher is going to be something, like Screen Gems or something like that. It's not going to be a first and last name for YouTube. They get a little fancy. But if you find the author, if the publisher, I'm sorry, is, has a first and last name, you can put it here in contributors. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to just go ahead and put it here. And that's all it needed. Remember, that was the only thing it couldn't find. Create citation. And there you go. You'll notice that the citation put, this must be maybe his avatar name or something like that. That's fine. I mean, this is not scholarly.